To 524 part 2. I got good news and bad news. Should be a much shorter video, but unfortunately for you, the homework will take longer, so sorry. Anyways, let's just jump into this with number 1, and I want to point something out here. We're just basically getting extra practice on the quadratic formula, so not a big deal. So here's our quadratic formula, and a couple of things I wanted to point out on this. Look at this part of it, of the quadratic formula. This should look really familiar, that negative b over 2a. That negative b over 2a, you'll recall, helped us get our axis of symmetry, right? And then what happens is we go a little bit to one side and a little bit to the other, and that gives us our x-intercepts. Well, that's what this part of it is, right? So we really have two different parts of the quadratic formula. The negative b over 2a gives us the middle of the parabola, and then the plus or minus 4ac tells us to go in those two directions. So I think it's kind of interesting the way that works out in that quadratic formula, and hopefully you guys recognize that. But anyway, so here a is 1, b is 2, c is negative 8. So we're just going to say y equals a negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 8. All of that is going to be over 2 times 1. So a negative 2 plus or minus a square root of 4 plus 32 over 2. And again, we will get y equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 36 over 2. So let's break this up. We're going to get y equals negative 2 plus 6 over 2, and y equals negative 2 minus 6 over 2. And again, if you think about that, that's essentially what this is saying is my axis of symmetry is negative 1, right? Negative 1, and then I want to go 3 in one direction, and I want to go negative 3 in one direction, and those are going to be my points, right? Here I get 4 over 2, which is 2, and that is 3 away. The reason why it's 3 is it's 6 divided by 2. The shift is going to be there, right? I get negative 8 over 2, so I get negative 4. So you can see that my axis of symmetry is this part divided, right? That's negative 1. And then my shift is this part divided. A shift of positive 3 and a shift of negative 3. So kind of interesting the way that works out. Again, if we look here, you can see that is indeed what we came up with there. And that our axis of symmetry would be the negative 1. So one thing I will point out on this problem as well is you obviously could have used the diamond on this one, right? The diamond's going to work great here. So I'm going to get negative 8 and 2. And then on the sides, I'm going to get 4 and negative 2. So x plus 4, x minus 2 is going to give me negative 4 and positive 2, which is what we came up with. But don't forget, we're practicing the quadratic formula today. That's the whole goal is to practice the quadratic formula. Let me go ahead and do one more of these, and then we will turn you loose on the homework. This is not going my way right now. I definitely should have paused this. I apologize, but I didn't. I'm pot committed, so let's keep going. I'm gonna pause this. Sorry. Thoughts. First of all, don't forget that a lot of these do work with the diamond, but you should be practicing the quadratic formula. Second of all, what do we do if we look at something like this? Is A8, B negative 4, is C 18? It's not. You do want to have these things in standard form before you determine what your A, B, and C are. So be real careful with that. So if I look at this, I'm going to say y equals negative b, so I will have a negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 8 times negative 18. All of that is going to be over 2 times 8. So I will get 4 negative, right, plus or minus the square root of 16 plus a negative times a negative times a negative is plus This is going to be a big number right here. 4 times 8 times 30. 4 times 8 times 18. I don't know. So let's see. 4 times 8 times 18 is going to be 576 over 16. I will get 4 plus or minus the square root of, and again, I have no idea, so I'll add, you can see it just says answer, right? So 576 plus 16, and now I want to get the square root of that, so let's get the square root and just do this in one fell swoop. So we get second square root of the answer. That's 592. I get 24.33. So I did 2 steps in one there just because it was kind of a pain. And this one I'll go sideways. So I'll say 4 plus 20. Oh wait, this isn't the square root, is it? This is just 24.33. Don't forget, I added them and then I got the square root. So I hope you guys know what I'm saying there. Like I added and got 592, then I took the square root of 592. I did skip a step, so now I will get 28.33 over 16, and I will get negative 20.33 over 16. And I'll just divide these things out and see what I get. So 28.33 divided by 16 is going to give me 1.77, and negative 20 point, negative 20.33 divided by 16. Uh-oh. I used the wrong negative. I used a subtraction. You can see they look very similar, but they're just a little bit different. So stupid. Anyway, so 1.77 and negative 1.27. So let's go to Desmos and see if that is true. Went ahead and did get those answers. So at that point, obviously your homework is going to be to do that worksheet.